It's amazing how great your home looks with new carpet or flooring, especially when you get an amazing value from a company you trust. That's why you should call Sears Flooring. With Sears Flooring, you'll save 20% right now. Just call 1-888-491-3939, and Sears Flooring will bring the showroom to you. Sears has a wide range of carpet, tile, hardwood, or laminate to match your style and budget. Your new flooring will be precisely installed, and your satisfaction is guaranteed. So call Sears Flooring for a free in-home consultation. You'll save 20%. Call 1-888-491-3939. Hurry, offer ends soon. Not available in all areas. Installation provided by Sears authorized licensed contractors. License information available upon request. Call Sears Flooring now and save 20%. Call 1-888-491-3939. 1-888-491-3939. Sears.
Blog Talk Radio. Hi, this is Natalie with Vitiligo Friends. I was waiting for my intro music, but that did not come in, so sorry about that dead air. Today I have Joanne Giovanni joining me, and we're going to discuss some methods to live more happily with vitiligo. It's difficult to live with this, and it doesn't have to be that way, you know, other than ignoring that you have vitiligo, which is virtually impossible to do if you look in the mirror or you have people looking at you. You know, it's there. And but there are ways that we can live with it and have a happier mental attitude towards waking up in the morning and hitting the road for the day to live a successful life. We're also going to be answering questions that I've gotten on the Vitiligo Friends Facebook page and also on the vitiligocover.com website. And so let's begin now. I'd like to introduce my co-host, Joanne.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm so happy to be back.
Thank you. I love having you here. You're a wonderful source of information for coping techniques and relaxation and a lot of stress management ideas, and that's what anybody in the world could use, obviously, exactly. But especially when you have something that makes you feel like you're different from the rest of the world or that makes you stand out. And I'm not talking about in a good way, you know.
Gotcha.
Not that having vitiligo makes me stand out in a bad way, but you know, one feels like you're the center of eyes staring at you when you walk anywhere. I feel that way sometimes with my hands when if I don't put my vitiligo cover lotion on, which I hadn't for the past couple of weeks because I was doing this ginger root experiment, and I'll be talking about that later too. The ginger root experiment, and also keeping it off because I was doing some video shoots for like how to apply vitiligo cover lotion stuff. So I had to have it off. And
right.
Most of the time I wasn't self-conscious about it because I'm busy doing things, you know, and rushing, getting this done or paying, going here. But on those mornings when I go each morning and get an espresso at a local cafe, and every time I hand the money to the young lady, not now, because by now she's looked and, you know, and now the I don't want to say the excitement, but the novelty of seeing the white patches on my skin has gone. So but when I handed the money to her the first couple of times, I saw her glance down. And she didn't, you know, it wasn't like she gave me a look of disgust or what the hell is that on your hand. It was just, I noticed that she noticed, which, you know, somebody could look at you like that if you've got a mole on your face or if you've got eyeliner that's, you know, running down your face and you don't know about it, whatever. People can look at you strangely, but we're hypersensitive when we have vitiligo. I mean, you just, there's no way around it. You're hypersensitive. So any looks that you get, instead of it being, oh, they're looking at my pretty hair, oh, she's noticing my ring on my finger, it's, why is she staring at my hand? Why is she looking at that?
Well, and that's one of the first things that I was going to mention is another friend of mine who is vitiligo.
You got another friend besides me?
I do. I have one other friend.
Crazy.
I have two.
My other friend. That's
my
what you
other
said. It was
friend.
funny.
Yeah. But she said the same thing. She said it's so funny because her neck is apparently I guess neck and chest area is extremely
the décolleté, which is really that's what you call that area, that upper chest area, that when you go somewhere. But that's actually a cut of a that's the cut of a dress cut. Yeah, but people call that. They did that at the spa, and I was like, that's not a décolleté. That's just my upper chest. Yeah. Sorry to say.
Oh, I was going to say.
You want to be French-speaking person.
Oh, yeah.
All right, go ahead. Sorry. So
that's okay.
So she has that on her chest.
But she said the same thing, and she said she's so sure when someone looks at her that's what they're doing, exactly what you said. They're not noticing what beautiful hair you have or the ring. Well, she was proven wrong several times because
they were looking at her chest instead.
No, they were looking at her beautiful. She had a beautiful necklace on.
Oh.
And so someone went, "Oh my gosh!" And she's thinking, "Oh, I've got to explain that I have vitiligo, and yeah, sometimes it looks funny." And she was all ready to give that sentence to the person who was talking to her, and they went, "Where did you get that necklace? That is so cool looking. It's kind of funky looking." And she was like, "Oh." So she's like, maybe I don't always have to assume that people are looking at that.
Yeah, hypersensitivity. And there's another thing that I've been trying to implement more in my life too, is to assume the best. Mm-hmm. If you're in a relationship with somebody or just your family, friends, whatever, if something is said that's not nice, or let's say they don't call, or they're not answering their phone, or they're a myriad of things. Instead of assuming the worst, assume the best. Or if they say, "Oh, I know I did say that, but it's not." Don't take it like they really did mean it in a mean way. You know this person, so obviously they could have meant it in a mean way, and you would know that that's definite. But when you're not sure, don't always jump to that thing. And I'll be darned if that's whenever you have something different like vitiligo, you're going to jump to that conclusion. And so what's something I could do for that? What that I and that everyone else with vitiligo could possibly do? Did I catch you off guard on that?
No.
one? Okay, good.
I'm ready.
To not jump to that conclusion.
Well, the first thing that you mentioned too, when you said my thought process or my thoughts go to that or whatever, is what you said, to assume the best. A lot of it is just the way we've been, and I don't know how long people have had vitiligo, whether it's from a child or just recent, but so much of the time we take that first response that happens to us like, "Oh, everyone stared at me," or whatever, and we file that away in our brain. And the next time someone looks at you the same way, that it's like you go through the brain and you look for that folder and you think, okay, this is how I responded, so I'm going to respond the same way. So it's almost like you have to tell yourself, throw that folder away, put another one in there, and it'll be the one where I'm going to assume they're looking at my necklace today or the ring on my hand or whatever. But habits and even thought process are such habits. So whatever happened the first few times, you take that and you hold it, and your body and your brain go, well, here we are again. They're looking at me, so I'm going to respond the same way. Well, you just got to break that cycle. And I know it sounds hard because I've done it. I know exactly how it is when you feel like someone's staring at you for some reason. And we've all probably been there in one form or another. But it's really nice if you can put that person at ease. Like if you feel someone's uncomfortable or staring, then you can just be as natural and as calm as you can, and then that usually makes that person respond differently.
Absolutely.
Instead of getting that look on your face like, okay, here we go again, I'm going to... If you're just like, yeah, I have this, and so what? And you're comfortable in it, that really does make other people more comfortable.
And there's so many things that you just touched on. The one, to make the initial engagement with that person. You see them looking at your hand, and then like your friend was just about to say something, but then the other person jumped in with the necklace thing. But had she said, oh, did you notice this? This is, vitiligo. Is that what she has, vitiligo? Oh. Sorry about that, everyone. That was my phone, sorry. Let's turn that down and off. Oh gosh. Okay, so I don't know how to turn this off now.
And you know what? It is the other thing too is think about people who, like, a friend of mine is overweight, and she's like, oh my gosh, I always feel like when I go into a movie theater or an airplane, people look like, oh, please don't sit by me, please don't sit by me, because I'm large. And I'm like, oh my gosh,
sure.
I never would have thought that about her because I love her to death.
Right.
I never would have. So most people, they automatically assume, oh, this is going to happen again.
Right.
It's not that, oh, I really want the seat by myself because I don't want to talk to somebody.
They're fat.
It's because they're large or something. Yeah. So
or
again,
it's politically incorrect for me to say fat.
I don't have any idea.
They're overweight. Okay, so the things I was touching on before I rudely interrupted the broadcast with my phone was that, yes, if you make that first engagement with them, it's like that story I told you about how my step-niece had come over and she said, what's that? Pointing to the vitiligo on my hand. And I was just about to tell her what it was, and her dad swooped in and said, you don't ask questions like that. That's not nice. And I said, no, it's perfectly fine. I don't mind explaining it to her. And I said, it's nothing contagious. I said, it's kind of like, she was like 5, so I had to explain it, in child terms. But I said, it's just like freckles, but in reverse. So instead of there being dark places, there's white places. And she was kind of still staring at it. I said, you can touch it if you want to because there's nothing different about it. It's just skin, but white color skin instead of dark color skin. And so she put her tiny little finger, just touched it. And then she smiled, and I was getting ready for her, to explain a little bit more. And she said, okay. And then she just ran off to play. That's all she needed.
That's right.
And that's basically, doesn't matter how old you are, people just need to know, okay, that's all that it is. If somebody looks at my hand, I said, oh, it's vitiligo. It's where your skin pigments and depigments, it's just it's crazy, but the color goes away and it can come back, but you just never know when it does. And they're like, all right, that's it.
Yeah. Most people, I think most people are or would love to be more tolerant and not, I don't want to say not that anyone's intolerant, but once they see and they understand, I think people just then, like you said, file it away and go, okay, fine. You know? And you don't see that anymore, But some people are, I don't know if anyone's ever as bad as...
People can be brutally, I'm not going to say honest, but crass about how they approach you or with the way that they ask people questions. What is that?
Yeah.
What's on your hand there? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
That's never happened to me, but I know several people who have written in or who I've talked to on the phone that who have vitiligo that have told me that that's happened, and that really bruises your ego, because it makes you feel so just ugly.
Well, and you're right. The way someone phrases something can be,
absolutely.
And maybe the fact that they said it that way, they were like, it wasn't a big deal. What's that? But I know sometimes the words can be very harmful, and your explanation back to them needs to be, as nonchalant and as calm as can be.
Because what you put into it is what they're going to take out of it. In other words, if you're apologetic or if you're like,
and hide your hand,
then that shows them that it's something. Not only are you reinforcing in your mind that it's something that should be hidden or that's gross, you're telling that person that it's something that they should stay away from, that it's
unapproachable.
It's unwanted. So and so it's very important to just be honest. With your honest and breezy, no big deal. It's blah blah blah,
and that's what helps in that too. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it's just being comfortable in your own skin. It's kind of like whether you think you have a big nose, whether you think you do have a mole, you have whatever it is. If you love yourself and you're a great, wonderful person, then that shows in your eyes. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like you said, so that breezy kind of, it's like. No big deal. I have a friend who's in a wheelchair who, I forget he's even in a wheelchair. And it's like, because I love the guy to death, and it's like, oh, I don't even see it, and so it's kind of like, and when people see him, he's such a nut, and he's so funny, and it's like, oh, you want to approach him and talk to him, so it's not that, don't look at him, he's in a wheelchair.
Right.
That goes away because he is
that,
approachable. Yeah, it's one of those things where, okay, do I look at him so that it shows I'm not uncomfortable because he's in a wheelchair, or do I not look at him?
I once read a paper written by someone who was in a wheelchair, and they had both their legs were amputated, and they said that the hardest part isn't that they don't have legs, isn't that they have to wheel themselves around or be carried here and there, and are completely dependent on other people to get them around. It was that they felt like they didn't exist in the eyes of other people because no one, like in passing, would really smile or, even give eye contact when they were out. Mm-hmm. So I always make sure when I'm out, if I see someone in a wheelchair, or even somebody who's pushing their child that has like cerebral palsy or something, that child that they're not really focusing on what's going on around them, but that parent, pushing them around, and, they can, I'm sure that even they have like a little chip on their shoulder because, they're knowing that people are looking at their child, and that's uncomfortable. Yeah. And I always smile at that parent or say hi because I think it's very important, just as important as making ourselves as people with vitiligo feel better about ourselves to live a happy life, that if you go beyond your own problems and help other people, even in the slightest way of just smiling at somebody or saying hi, even if you don't know them, then then you're taking that energy away, that negative energy away from you, and creating this new kind of light because you're happy, and you'll see the happiness in the other people's eyes. It's going to make you feel good that you've just touched someone's life, and it's just
and you never know what what you're doing or what gesture you've done really will make somebody else. I mean, I hate to sound like the Pay It Forward movie, right? But it really,
but it's very true.
It's very true.
Going back to what you were talking about, methods of coping. I absolutely love the coping method of retraining your brain. And that goes, that just doesn't only have to apply to this. It can go to so many other things. And I know that it works. You have to force yourself to do it.
You do.
But it does work. I used to be very... I was not hypochondriac because it wasn't like I always thought I was sick, but I always had the, what do you call that when somebody always thinks the worst is going to happen? Something, not cataclysmic thinking, but catastrophic thinking, where it's not just like a little something, it's a big something. Yeah. And every time I would get like a headache, because I've got stroke in my family, a couple of people have gotten strokes and died in my family. As soon as I got a headache, but the first thought was, oh my God, I hope I'm not going to have a stroke. I hope this isn't. And it would just kind of like spiral down into this, abyss of thinking negatively and getting so worried until finally, I don't know who I spoke with, but it might have been after your class.
Let's say so.
Let's just say that. But I then started thinking, okay, I've got a headache. And then I made myself think, all right, well, if this headache still persists in 24 hours, the same as it is, after you've taken, first thought is take a Tylenol or some kind of medicine for the headache. Okay, that should have been the first thing anyway, and that should take care of it. But if you should still have pain in a day, then 24 hours is kind of long for a headache, so then you can call your doctor and make sure that, see if they want to come in to check it or whatever. And I'll be darned if after just the first time that I did that, it went for everything else. Like if I had a pain in my arm, I no longer wondered if there was a tumor in there causing that big pain. I just thought, all right, well, you know what? You can think about this in 1 week if that pain's still there. Yeah. And I stopped worrying. Yeah. It really dramatically changed my worrying process.
Exactly. Well, the process is it. It's so funny because people think that by worrying about something, they're going to make it all better. And the worrying is the problem, and so it's like, make a plan. Like you said, I have a plan. Okay, if this doesn't go away in a week, then I'll do something about it. There. Now you can just file that thing away and go about your business.
Right.
Most people keep all their problems just right here in front of their face, and they worry and they worry and they worry. Worrying doesn't do one thing. You're worrying if people are looking at you, or are they looking at my face? Are they looking at my hands? Did that worrying make anything better? No, it just makes it worse.
Absolutely.
And it's hard not to worry, but you can, you can train yourself, like you said, not to think that way by saying to yourself, if this happens again, then I'll see a doctor or whatever. And then basically you can put it away, put the thought away.
Our call-in number is 1-858-769-4727. That's 1-858-769-4727. All right, Joanne, so now we know that that's a very good coping method, and it definitely would help one live happier with vitiligo. But let's discuss then, and we might need to brainstorm unless you already have some things up your sleeve, some examples of how one can use that in your life with vitiligo. I mean, because we need to have specifics now for us, because telling them how to deal with a headache or a pain in your arm is different than how can we put that to living with vitiligo. So,
like, you mean just as far as like immediate quick little things?
Okay, so the next time somebody looks at your hand, instead of jumping right to the assumption that they're looking at your vitiligo in disgust, assume that they're a curious person and they
wonder what it is.
They're wondering what it is.
Exactly. That would be excellent. Or the next time someone looks at your vitiligo, whether it's your hands or your face or whatever, get that breezy sparkle in your eye, whatever it's going to take, so the person doesn't even think, oh my gosh, is that person, got some disease, I shouldn't go near that person. So you want to be approachable.
Right.
And the more you act nonchalant about it, or that you're okay with it, those vibes really do get passed down.
Yeah.
So have that already in place. We talked about boundaries in class, so it's kind of like set good boundaries. Make one of those boundaries be, if my job, because I have vitiligo, is to teach people about it, then let me do that. Well, I will talk about it. Instead of saying, I'm going to wear gloves on my hands from now on.
Right.
Because what does that do? Make you nervous, make you feel sad, all those down words that, aren't so good.
And the truth is that even you wear gloves on your hands. Because that's what Michael Jackson did.
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it that way.
I know you didn't,
because you
but
said your hands in my ring.
It just clicked in my head.
Yeah.
But also there's no shame in trying to cure it, like I've been doing with that. What do you call that? I mean, it's not something that you have to live with and then just be happy with it. You can do things to alter it, but you don't need to be ashamed of what does show. Like with my Vitiligo Cover Lotion. I mean, it covers it all. People who I've known for years in these past couple of weeks since I haven't had it on, they're like, oh my God, I never noticed that.
Yeah,
and I'm like, well, that's because I don't have any of my Cover Lotion on. And they're like, well, you know what, I can see it, but it just doesn't really mean anything. And speaking of sparkling personality, I know this gentleman that, and he lives here in St. Louis, and he is African American, and he has vitiligo. And his vitiligo happens to be, it's on his, I don't know how much on his body, but I do know the face and his hands. But the face has, is what bothers him the most, and yet you would never know that he is bothered by it. His face has the vitiligo in a big round circle around each eye and around his mouth. So it's almost like a reverse panda kind of thing. And it's very obvious, and it changed completely, what he looks like, because, that distracts from your facial features, and everything. And, but you would never, people don't ever give him, weird looks or or talk, mean to him or anything, because he has such a bubbly personality that you just immediately fall in love with the guy.
Yeah.
And so that's just like almost kind of fun part of him, because his personality is so electrifying that you're attracted to that, and everything that comes with him is just like a bonus, because he's very overweight too, but that doesn't stop him from dating and everything. Right. So it's just a matter of it doesn't always have to be confidence, because you can fake confidence. So if you can fake confidence but act just more exuberant and full of life.
Full of life, I was just going to say. And unless you're just a very shy person.
Well, I'm very shy too.
Yeah.
But people don't know that I'm shy.
Yeah, but you're bubbly.
I don't feel like it. I know nobody believes that I'm really shy. But I think you probably know that I am.
Natalie's not that shy.
I am so okay, maybe shy is the word, not the right word. There's another word that I like better than shy. Bashful.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm bashful in certain situations.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like if I'm at a party and I don't know anybody, I will wait for people to come talk to me more times than if I would just go up to a group and start talking in that group. Oh my God.
Okay, so that kind of surprises me about you.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Now I can get up in front of a large audience of people and talk and sing.
Yeah.
You can do that karaoke thing.
Yeah.
That's only that. Well, never mind. Yes, that's true. I can do that. That's with a little bit of prodding from a little bit of help there. But no, I'm very, very bashful. But because I have, it's almost like you have to fake it till you make it, kind of thing.
Well, or I like the thing about just list all the good things about you. Don't worry about the bad. List all the good. List the fact that you've got beautiful blonde hair and that you have a wonderful
but really,
personality.
how often does one take an honest inventory of themselves? Because you know what, I'm not gonna write down I have beautiful blonde hair.
Maybe you don't have to write it down, but don't you know when you go out that people tell you how gorgeous your hair is, or that people will pick up on that if you're not sitting there trying to look down and be ashamed because
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. And I think that's probably why people don't notice my vitiligo, is because I'm And I'm very animate with my hands, too, so it's not like they're not in people's faces. And it is covered up, most of the time. But even when it's not, it's just a matter of your personality shining through brighter than your vitiligo white patches.
You go. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my gosh. That sounds like a
quote.
I know.
Something we need to write down. But and I know it sounds
corny
corny to say, oh, make a list. And I'm not a list person. But I tell you what, there are times where I've been nervous to do something, and I just picture myself just going up there, and whether it's in a room full of people or a party or whatever, and I just picture myself being like, man, I'm going to knock them dead kind of thing. And, I am so good that this is going to be good. This is going to be fun. And your mind
even though you
takes
know that that's not true, then you fake it. I'm just kidding.
Well,
you are.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, those positive affirmations will sink in your brain. And that part of the brain will be like, yeah, let's go. Instead of being the negatives, because then that part of your brain's going to say, okay.
So then what we want everyone to work on this week is
self-esteem.
Self-esteem. Just pick one thing, and let's let that one thing be this. If you are self-conscious about people looking at you. That was my cat, not us whining. If you are self-conscious about people looking at your vitiligo, then each time this week for the next 7 days, and then next week you can call us up with your success stories or your unsuccessful stories, whichever. Share, and then we will help you fix it. But this whole week, anytime anyone looks at your vitiligo, I want you to first assume that they are looking at something that's on your hand or your face. Just if you have a ring on or whatever, just assuming that it's that. And if there's nothing, then you can't attach yourself to that because there's no ring on your hand or necklace on your neck. Then assume that they are curious about the vitiligo and not looking and judging you as negative. Just try that for 7 days.
act like your job for 7 days is to show the curious people or tell the curious people about it.
Right.
It can be your chance to inform or your chance to educate instead of saying, oh, gosh, now I guess I better explain what this is because they're staring at it. You can be, ooh, good, another chance. If somebody wants to ask me about this, I've got my answers.
Great. All right, so now we've got your assignment. Our assignment is coming up with a new technique for next week. And I will also have more information about my ginger vitiligo experiment, as you may have read on the Facebook page, and also on my on the vitiligocover.com page. I explained that because I have just not had the ginger root juice in front of my face at all times because you have to have it refrigerated, I would forget here and there to put it on a daily basis. And I'm not going to tell you next time I begin again so that I won't let you down and I won't let myself down because I let you down. I'm just going to do it, take my pictures, and then I'll show you. But I do know that I was getting repigmentation, and several other people who have written on the Facebook site and the website are beginning to experience that as well. So it's something worth trying. Ginger root, you juice it in your juicer or cut thin slices. And that's our show for today. I'm sorry, we've got to go. We only have 10 seconds left. So happy that you joined us.
Don't forget your homework.
Don't forget your homework. And visit our sponsor, shop.vitiligocover.com. And we'll see you next week with some exciting more information about coping with vitiligo and living a happy life. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks, Joanne.
You're welcome.
All right, bye-bye.